Hi, I'm Luqman Haris. You are watching Agenda AWANI, and a lot of times here on Agenda AWANI, we talk about nation building and all its different aspects. Now, when we talk about that topic, many players, many companies, many individuals would come into the equation of building the nation for the past 70 years or so that we've achieved independence. And this topic, or the focus for this episode, is definitely one of the bodies that have played a huge role in nation building for the past half century. I'm talking about Bank Simpanan Nasional, or BSN, and joining me today in the studio is its Chief Executive, J. Khairil Jeremy Abdullah. J, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Luqman, for having me.
It's our pleasure, and I do have a bit of a soft spot for BSN. Back in the day when I was in boarding school in the middle of nowhere, I would rely on my parents for allowance. And in those days, I would go to the local BSN, and it's a very small town, queue up, use the bank book to withdraw 50 ringgit, 100 ringgit, and that's how we lived. But I guess that is kind of, a fitting anecdote for BSN, because it has always been there, almost always first, giving coverage to Malaysians who previously probably had no or lack of access to banking services. You're always there first. And now it's been 50 years of BSN. So what are the latest developments and key highlights of this half-century anniversary for the bank?
Well, firstly, thank you, Luqman, for having me in the studio. It's a privilege to be here. Let me always start, with our brand promise, which is no Malaysian left behind. Exactly what you just mentioned.
Right.
In that kampung, in that rural area, that's the reason of our inception. That's the reason of our being, right? And our true north is advancing inclusive banking. Now, really, it is about being at places where financial access may be limited. So today we are very proud to have achieved almost 98% of presence in all the mukims in the country. We have 899 to be specific, mukims in the country. We are at 98%. The hope is, inshallah, by next year, we should get to 100%. Now, our extensive network, 387 branches nationwide. We have more than 2,000 agents. These are agent banks. You go to the moms and pops or grocery shops, you see that agent bank sign there.
You see them all the time.
That's us, right? And we have something that is also very unique now, our 10 mobile bank branches. So this is, or we simply call them Cawangan Bank Bergerak. They're simple vans that we equip them with ATM machines. Right? So we drive them to all the kawasan pendalaman or rural areas, and we park there for a day, for a couple of hours. And we allow the rakyat to come and have very simple banking transactions. And then we go and park it somewhere else, and we do that on a continuous weekly basis.
Right.
So that's what we do, and some other developments of the bank, our flagship product of Simpanan CJ Premium. I'm not sure, Luqman, if you're a customer on that. If you haven't, I would strongly encourage you to be part of that. We have celebrated very recently our 106 millionaire. Right, so we have, brought about 106 millionaire through this flagship product of ours, and the latest one was in Terengganu. So these are, very good development, and when we talk about also, where we have come after so long, inclusion includes micro entrepreneurs. So today, BSN is the market leader. We capture almost 64% of the micro financing industry. It's always about, when we talk about micro businesses, how do we get financing?
Yep.
Which is not wrong. Financing is a very important aspect. But what is also very dear to our hearts is, how do we nurture these micro businesses to one day be small or medium enterprises? And we all know collectively or combined MSME represents almost 40% of the country's GDP. So, some of these things that we, that we have done, which is, how do we do better and better by the day? after 50 years, Luqman.
What are your mandates? What are the mandates that BSN have been entrusted with for the past 50 years?
Yeah. So, it's always when, as the name itself, right, Bank Simpanan Nasional, if you turn it the other way around, it's National Savings Banks. And the mandate is very clear, which is to foster or inculcate the savings habit, which is why our flagship product, like the Sinjil Simpanan Premium, it's a very key product for us to inculcate the savings habit. And today we have more than 4 million depositors just on that SSP alone. And this is how we encourage the young, even the retirees, even the frontliners, everyone, every walks of life with Bank Simpanan Nasional. So that's one, that's inculcating the savings habit. The other one is about financial literacy. It's also incumbent on us to make sure, and financial literacy evolves over time. Yesterday it was about just having a banking account. Today it's about your awareness of what financial products can do and make your life better from a financial standpoint. So financial literacy, financial inclusion, our mandate includes microfinancing to make sure we disburse to micro businesses that may not have adequate access otherwise. So these are some of the key prominent mandates that we are entrusted. We are also the only bank or the agency that is entrusted to do all the various cash aids by the government. Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah, Sumbangan Asas Rahmah, and we distribute all these initiatives to the rakyat as a whole.
But I guess one of the original mandates, apart from all that you just mentioned, is just very simply to be there first, because financial inclusion is a big part and has always been a big part of BSN of the past half century. You go to the most rural areas, you go to the deepest areas first to ensure that folks there also have access to adequate banking services compared to folks, just like folks in the big cities. What strategies and initiatives that you implemented to effectively execute this mandate? Because to be there first is not always the easy thing, right?
Yeah, and Luqman, when we talk about initiatives, strategies, it is very important for us to have the right anchor in the bank. And what is that anchor? The anchor is our people. It is always the who and then the what. Now, the people that we have must have the passion to also serve. So that's very key, and that's almost like second to none, because otherwise, then how do you go to all these rural areas and make sure we are able to help people with financial access?
And a lot of the employees in one branch, I assume, also are locals who live there or nearby.
Yep. Like in the case of Sabah and Sarawak, they are mostly locals who we take on board, work in our branches, our tellers and all. They are all local people around that area vicinity, and they know the people around that vicinity, and that's how they serve. So that's key, and we also have introduced many products that is more accessible to even the young. And also the working population, and don't forget the retirees. So these are products that we have continuously upgraded to make sure that it's in line and in tune with the latest development. And we know banking itself has changed in terms of landscape in a very drastic way. Today people don't go to the bank anymore in the city. If you go to the rural area, it's different. But if you go to the city, banking is at your palm, we've had that very short discussion earlier about how you can just walk up from your home with only your phone today.
Yeah, I've not brought cash for I think years.
For a long time, right? So it is, the modernization part has to also be in tandem with what we do. Yes, we are in a lot of rural areas, making sure we have access to banking services for the less fortunate or communities like in kawasan pedalaman. But it's also very important for us to modernize the bank to equip our customers in that, whether it's city or the more advanced population, to be able to enjoy banking services in a very seamless way. So those are not very different from what other commercial banks do. They continuously upgrade their services to make sure that the millennials today, some of them do not know how a bank branch look like, right? All they do is they download the app, and that's what banking is all to them, and Bank Simpanan National is no different. We are doing all those in the same breath, and also making sure that we do not leave people behind in places where banking services have, it could be due to very simple things such as infrastructure.
Yep.
So there are some places that we go today may have been limited by infrastructure. So we bring along agencies like MCMC, we bring telcos and say, hey, look, we need to provide banking services here. Perhaps we should also collectively have, whether it's telco network access and all, so that then we can then have that service availability. So these are some of the things that we do. But it is really trying to make sure we have products and services that cater to every walks of life. So our true north, our brand promise is no Malaysian left behind, and it literally is about not leaving anyone behind in terms of financial services.
From young people to retirees, and you mentioned retirees.
Yes.
My parents still use BSN as their main banking account.
Thank you so much.
Until now.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to modernizing your products and services, because I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you face in modernizing your products and services? Because you are one of the original players. You have legacy, things on your tail, but you've been doing quite a successful job at modernizing. What are some of the challenges that you faced along the way and still continue to face now?
Technology is one, right? Today, banking has become also somewhat a technology provider. A lot of the sophistication and innovation revolves around technology. So investment in technology is a big challenge. It's not a big challenge only to the bank. It's a big challenge to anyone, right? I'm sure, including Astro and all.
Yep.
So it's where do you invest, right? And you have a full array of things to do. How do you prioritize? Which one comes first? It centers around how do you, resources are limited. How do you best invest in meaningful and impactful products and services, upgrading your services in order for you to meet the demands of the customers today. It is providing convenience to customers and all. Challenges in technology is one, innovation and all those things are all grouped together. But you have very minute challenges such as, with all this advancement in technology comes fraud and scam.
Yep.
So today, the buzzword is, hey, I've accidentally clicked on a link and my money is gone. It may sound silly sometimes the way things are done, but if you look very deep into it, it's a huge challenge. As we advance in technology, the unscrupulous people have also learned or be better at it. And today they use, you won't believe it, they use AI.
Yes.
To do scams and fraud. So therein lies the role of banking institution like us. What do we do? So we, then the challenge becomes, okay, how do we invest to make sure that, we could detect suspicious transaction? So those are all huge investment, and, detect in advance before anyone, clicks on something that is suspicious.
So it's security first.
It's security. It's imperative. And also to make sure that we do enough awareness program. Essentially, the best way to counter fraud and scam, addressing the nation as a whole, it's awareness. we have to bring about awareness first, right? It's, you know, when we say do not click on links, yes, please do not click on links, because a lot of times they are malwares, they are, you know, they are things that literally take your money away, and it's all the other investment scams that, you know, my face has been used in many social media. I said,
oh,
okay,
really?
you know, use, you know, talk to us. We have the best investment scheme. You know, you invest with us, with this money, your money doubles or triples the next day and stuff. If it's too good to be true, it is probably true. So beware of the scam tactics. Look out for all the bank's awareness campaign, because we do that on a very onerous basis, on a weekly basis. We share about what are the latest tactics in scams and fraud, and these are very imminent features that we do, Lokman.
And in that same vein of awareness, you are now also focused, as you've mentioned earlier, on fostering savings habit among Malaysians. But how do you remain focused, and how do you keep this on track? And you want to get more people to save and to save more in this challenging economy.
Yeah. So you know, Lokman, you cover a lot of business program as well. You know, banks are all fighting for deposits. We're fighting for the same, you know, group of people, same pool for deposits. So it's, you know, it is making, you know, and it has become like service in second nature. You know, when rates are all going to come to more or less the same, the differentiation would be, why should I choose this bank over that bank, or why should I choose you over the other bank? And you know, that differentiation would come in the form of service. That's how we view it. So that's something that we have given a lot of priority on. We have this aspiration of being the top 3 in terms of customer service. It's a very high, tall order, but this is also to rally our people to say that, you know, look, we can, you know, we can do it. And it's easy to say we want to be number 3 in this, number 1 in this. You know, it's all the components, the building blocks that we have to put in place. So it's looking back at processes. How do we make processes better? How do we re-engineer some of the things? So again, with advancement of technology, we have a lot of processes today which are robotic. We do a lot of RPAs. You know, we are trying to do a lot more straight-throughs. Like, you know, if you come to the bank today, all you need to do is press a button and it goes all the way straight to disbursement. Some of those re-engineering, process improvement are all components to make service better. And that ultimately would be the differentiating factor for, you know, for normal folks out there to choose which is the go-to bank. Saving is something that we have been fostering for a long time. So we have different products. We even go to schools and tell school children, we pay your profit based on how active you are in co-curriculum, for example. So it's not just about you getting all the A's. You also have to be a complete student, and that has points to how much bonus you get or how much profits you get. So these are, you know, some of the gamification that we do among school children, and you can see how excited they are. Actually, we are going after their parents' money, but it's through the children. It's through the children, right? So when the children gets excited, they say, "No, Pa and Ma, I want to do this. You know, it's very interesting. You know, if I do this, I get a lot more points and stuff like that." So these are some of the things that we do at schools. You know, when participations have been very encouraging. Every time we go to schools, we talk to not just students, we talk to teachers, we talk to parents, and, you know, we talk to guardians and all.
Right. So you've been around again, 50 years. The next 50 years, maybe you're still around. I don't know.
Hopefully.
What are BSN's future plans and initiatives for this next phase, this next leg of your existence?
So we have, if you don't mind, Lokman, I just want to touch a bit on how we have celebrated our 50 years, because that sets a very good foundation of how we want to be in the next 50. You know, as a bank, we, you know, late last year we said, okay, this year is going to be our 50th year anniversary. And how are we going to celebrate it? You know, we don't want to just have a night dinner and say, okay, you know, this is our 50th anniversary dinner or a week-long program. We wanted it to be a whole year program. So we came up with something as simple as BSN 50 hari memberi, sempena 50 tahun. And it literally means we wanted to do at least 50 CSR programs that touch the lives of people, the communities that have supported us throughout. And we wanted to just do that. And we wanted every one of our employees, 7,500 strong today, to be part of the CSR program.
All across the country? All
across the country. The states, the HQ departments, you know, HQ departments have to do at least one. Each HQ department has to do at least one. So they rally the staff and colleagues and all to go and prune padang, you know. Simple things you can just, you know, community halls, improve their, you know, some may have, you know, broken down some place and stuff, go to surau, repaint the surau. Simple thing, but it touches and it's very impactful. But, you know, Alhamdulillah, we have done more than 50 today. As we count down to, you know, we've celebrated our anniversary dinner on the 29th November, just very recently. You know, and, you know, it's something that we are very proud of. It's very memorable, and I'm very glad that we actually did that, you know, that was how we celebrated our 50 years, to give back to the community. Now, 50 years onwards, you know, I think we briefly touched on how we have to keep pace, we have to be relevant, and the way forward is, you know, no price for guessing. It is on digitalization, it is on innovation, it is on how technology plays a big part in this whole dynamics. The banking landscape has obviously changed a lot. So while we continue to do what we have been set up to do, which is to make sure we provide banking access to all Malaysians, we also must make sure we modernize the bank to keep pace, and why not even be at forefront of innovation and creativity. So that's something that we have to rally our people. We have to, you know, the tone from the top has to be right. The management team has to be very clear on the purpose and the direction of the bank. So these are things that, you know, it's inevitable that we have to do. You know, otherwise you probably won't be relevant in a couple of years' time.
98% of provinces, I think, in Malaysia covered so far.
Yes.
And 100% next year. That's the target.
Yes.
Good luck.
Very clear target.
Very clear, very attainable, based on the good job that you've done for the past 5 decades. I'm sure it's very attainable, and I wish you all the best. I'd like to thank you as well, because maybe, I think not just me, but we all have a lot of personal stories when it comes to BSN, especially those over a certain age, such as me. It cuts through generations. My parents were government servants. They used BSN primarily. I told you my story about BSN. And to me, BSN really indeed is more than just like a corporate bank, because you are there really to serve the people, and you've proven it. And we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much, Lokman, for having me. Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure. Thank you so much, Khairil Jeremy Abdullah, Chief Executive of BSN. Please, you guys also play your part in actually saving your money for your future, and also it's good that BSN is actually inculcating this habit amongst your children. We should play our part too, because it's definitely a good habit to have. But that's all the time we have. Thanks so much for watching Agenda Awani for this episode. I'll see you in the next one.